Conrail officials tonight are blaming yesterday's frightening train derailment in the Park Avenue tunnel on a missing handbrake pin worth less than $3. They say without the pin there, part of the braking device came loose in the train's rear car. The wheels locked, the car smashed the tunnel wall, and Conrail says the 34-year-old car had just been inspected, but the missing pin should have been noticed.
I've caused to be made an inspection of all of the cars of this type. We're doing that physical inspection now of each and every car to determine the fitness of the pins to remain in service.
9 people were hurt in that derailment, 4 seriously enough to be hospitalized briefly.
And tonight, many of the 30,000 transit workers slapped with Taylor law fines after last spring's walkout are trying now to get a refund. And even though the law forbids strikes by public employees, many of them are getting their money back. Channel 2's Vic Miles tells what's going on.
I wanted to go to work. How could we go to work when they were on strike? Even as far as with transit workers, we can't go to work when there's no buses or trains running.
There it is. One of the reasons some transit workers are using to claim they should not be fined under the state no-strike Taylor law, which you'll remember docked them 2 days' pay for each day they struck last April.
I applied for it for my days off. And so far I've received my days off back.
Some of the reasons being used by transit workers to reclaim between $850 and $1,500 in fine money: being ill during the strike, maternity leave, vacation, or jury duty. 1,000 transit workers have been repaid by the Metropolitan Transit Authority so far, and the union says as many as 3,000 of the 33,000 workers will collect.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Koch, however, noting this is a state, not a city problem, was ready with an "I told you so" comment.
As you may recall, I opposed the transit settlement. You remember that?
Yes.
And when they talked about they were going to save $30 million in productivity, you remember how I said that was ridiculous? You remember that? Well, we're just seeing it all unfold.
Comment from transit authority officials was skimpy, and union head John Law was unreachable.
Tonight, the MTA says any worker who thinks he'll get his strike fines back because he didn't have transportation to work will be disappointed. Vic Miles, Channel 2 News.
Ronald Reagan tonight is blaming President Carter for the war between Iran and Iraq. During a campaign swing through Texas today, Reagan had at first declined to discuss the situation, but later in the day, he changed his mind.
What is happening in Iraq and Iran is the consequence of policies this administration has followed during the last 3.5 years. A vacillating foreign policy and a weakened defense capability are largely to blame.
In New York today, John Anderson was also critical of the president. Anderson took Mr. Carter to task for painting Ronald Reagan as a warmonger.
It was nothing but self-serving demagoguery for the President of the United States to stand before an audience and to say that on the 4th of November, the vote would be between peace and war. And not just inferring, but quite plainly stating that he was for peace and his opponent for war.